more on election than governance. And we want to ask questions in that regard and also look at the cost implication of electioneering campaigns. So can we now take a shot, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. First is how significant do you think preparation for election affects governance in the real sense of it?
Given our environment, it affects it substantially. It's a bit of distraction from the regular workings of government, and unfortunately, it affects every level of governance. It affects the federal government. It affects also the state governments. It's a natural consequence in any society that once elections time is getting closer, there's a bit of distraction in government.
Yeah, you seem to have agreed that the effect goes across the 3 tiers of government. So what are possible solutions to mitigate against these effects?
It depends on the extent of the effect. Sometimes it's not totally adverse, but it can slow down government. Once it does not bring government to a standstill, then there's very little we can do about it.
Okay, yes, Nigeria as a nation seems to spend more, especially those in the political circle seem to spend more at this time because of an electioneering campaign. Now, the cost of it's very expensive, no doubt. Now, how do you think we as a nation can?
Well, for a lot of politicians, the attraction in government is the money they can make from government. So until we reach a level that we do not see public offices as a shortcut to making money or becoming wealthy, it is inevitable that we will always have high costs of elections and aspirants spending a lot of money.
So what practical steps can we take to get to that level?
I think the public funds is too accessible for purposes other than the intended purposes. So we need to bring in accountability. Accountability does not mean being accountable for money spent alone. It has to account for how it is spent. If the electoral process becomes more credible, if people see that the elected officials are not doing things that is of benefit to them, they can be confident that they can change them, then they become more accountable. Because you see elected officials spending public money on a total waste project and nothing happens, and they're always happy to say, I spend money on things that do not have direct positive impact on the lives of the people.
Now let's take you home to APC at the federal level. Mm-hmm. Everybody seems to be running for the presidency currently in your party. They are jostling, and this question of betrayal and this question of one should step down.
I would not go on the line of betrayal. I would also not go on the line of stepping down. These are early days. Everybody has expressed their desires but things will evolve and eventually to take shape. I don't think we should heat up the polity by making derogatory remarks about people that have come out to express their. Both have contributed immensely to the APC and to the country at large. And we should, the early days really.
Now coming home to your state, there seems to be some.
For the news, I've just seen it on social media like everybody else. But I think if it is true, it's a wake-up call for the party. That if the sense of injustice persists within the party, we might not have had the last of somebody deciding that they can't stay within the APC. But the reality is that we all have to dig in and rescue the party. It's practically impossible for one person to say, I will hijack the party structure. It's like self-indulgence, it can't work. And the national headquarters of the party needs to see the news about Mogaji Joseph Tegbe as a wake-up call. You can't force a structure on people. There's always that choice, that right to choose. Do I want to stay or do I want to leave?
Now, can someone infer, just lately, Chief Niya Akintola publicly disassociated himself from the Teslim or Modeu-led version of your party?
Yes.
Now, can someone infer your position that are you for or actually against?
I am also not part of Teslim structure. There was no valid Congress held. That's the position of majority of the party. If some people feel they can, on paper, hijack the structure of the party, I'm not sure they can take that to elections. So it is important that they wake up to the reality on ground. The majority of the party, an overwhelming majority of the party, is not on their side. And they can't do it alone. They have to wake up to the reality on ground.
Yes, in the event that this anomaly continues, and we are very sure that you are very decisive for the governorship race in Oyo State, in the event that...
To be fair to everybody, if we start making projections now, trying to compromise the ability to evaluate things objectively, we'll be doing ourselves a great deal of harm. There are barely 2 weeks in office. The guidelines are yet to come out for our primaries. So it's only fair to myself to see the direction they want to go. Particularly Oyo State is, don't let us elect somebody that does not have capacity to lead us. We can't continue along that line. The electorate must elect people and someone with capacity. It's very important. The current government lacks capacity to do anything.
In Oyo State or the...
Oyo State is, I said particularly with respect to Oyo State.
Is your governorship ambition still subject to negotiation, consensus, or you're firmly with it?
Well, I am firmly focused on contesting for the governor of Oyo State. The options made by the new Electoral Act are clear. We can have consensus, we can have direct primaries, we can have indirect primaries. I'm fully prepared for any of the options, and I believe that I will emerge as the candidate of the All Progressive Congress.
Thank you, sir. Your name was
Akim Agbaje is my name. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.